Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hello ladies, how are you? Happy International Women's Day. I feel so excited to be recording this episode today. I wasn't actually going to do it until tomorrow, but then obviously the timing just felt really divine. So I thought I would do it today instead. And what I wanted to speak to you about is all around pricing. And I think I feel so passionately about this today because just as women, we have to start rising up. We have to start wanting more for ourselves, from our business, and really stepping into our financial power. And that starts with ensuring that we are charging enough for our services and we're really getting out there and selling with confidence. So this is something that comes up really often for me when I work with clients. It's around pricing. Everybody feels really ick. So they're happy to create the thing. They're happy to almost half-heartedly market the thing. But when it comes to actually pricing and selling the thing, it feels really uncomfortable. Now, obviously, this is quite, it makes sense to me because as women, we are conditioned throughout society to really try and be a good girl, to stay small, to stay quiet, and just to essentially do everything for free, give away all of our energy, and just be a good person, really. And whenever money comes up, it can really make us feel like, we're a bit of a bitch, we're being greedy, we're asking too much, like all of these things. So for me, as a money mindset coach, but also as a woman and a female energy principles leader, I absolutely know where this resistance comes from. And typically our mindset as it relates to money and in our business, it stems from the beliefs that we hold around money itself and how easy it can be in terms of making it and generating it and keeping hold of it and growing it. It all comes from childhood and the things that we saw and heard around money from our community leaders, from our teachers, from society, our parents, our family. So if you've come from a place where you were told, money doesn't grow on trees and rich people are bad and greedy and it's wrong to want more than you want, then wrong to want more than you want, wrong to want more than you need. Essentially, I'm like, hang on a sec, that didn't sound right. Then obviously it comes from that. So then how that would relate to or translate to you as an adult, as a business owner, is that you feel like you can't charge for your services. And it comes up so much when I work with women. And it's just something that we really need to be the change that we want to see in this respect. Because why is it important for women to have money? Well, from a personal perspective, I know that I have stayed in situations that weren't necessarily the best situations for me because I wasn't financially empowered to do anything about it. It also means that, if you think about how many thousands of years men have been in charge, this isn't to hate men, by the way, because I know that there's perfectly nice men out there that are really, really generous. But essentially, it's been the same like patriarchal system where it's men at the top of any business organization, and they are the ones that determine policy, that, essentially controls how the world is run. If there was more women in those positions of leadership and really had money, think how much we could contribute to change in the world, particularly now with everything going on right now, just coming out of the pandemic, but also, as there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now around Ukraine. For me personally, being able to actually make a physical donation felt really good, and being able to go to like Costco and buy a whole crate of baby wipes and nappies and physically do something to, obviously I know that there's better ways to impact change, but just for me as a mother, being able to go and make that small contribution to other mothers that are going through this time right now felt really good. But that only comes from me having the money to be able to do it. And again, that then comes from me charging what my services are worth to my clients. And so that's how I'm kind of coming at it. I think equally my experience in corporate really showed me the disparity between what men and women earn, but it all comes from mindset and its limitations that we place on ourselves. So this podcast wasn't really intended to go too much into money mindset, but it obviously, I feel like I need to kind of expand on why it's such a problem for us as women to really charge those big numbers. And it even happened when I worked in corporate. So I would often get women as they came into a business almost with gratitude for just having a job and an opportunity. They never or hardly ever really took the time to negotiate. So inevitably they were always being paid less than men that came in with more confidence. But equally, there's a study, and I think the statistics on it are that a woman could look at a job description for her next level of success. So something that would be considered to be a promotion, maybe it's a leadership role, and she would look at that job description and she would need to, in her own mindset, be able to fulfill at least 70% of that job description in order to even throw her hat in the ring, to be considered to be and to apply for that role. Whereas a man could look at the same job description, and as long as he considers himself at least 30% qualified to do that job, he will throw his hat in the ring and apply anyway. And it just goes to show how, that's why men progress so quickly. It isn't because we're necessarily taking time out to have families or children. It's because they have that mindset and that confidence to just push themselves regardless. And equally, just from a spiritual sense, in the study of epigenetics, as women, we hold fears and phobias that have been passed down through our ancestors. So sometimes the beliefs that we have around showing up, although I hate that term, so it's not about charging what you're worth, but what our transformation or our service is worth, can feel really ick, because we've inherently got fears and phobias that hold us back from speaking our truth. At every stage in history, women have been persecuted for stepping forwards, for stepping up, for being loud, for being outspoken. And it's called the witch's wound, actually, because if you think about it, we were quite literally burnt at the stake. And those experiences would have been passed down through our genetics as women to keep us safe. So it's all around keeping us safe, keeping us small, keeping us hidden, and fitting in with our tribe. So, but for me, those kind of things, please God, don't happen in the world as such. Like, particularly if you live in the Western world, we have, and I'm not ignorant enough to not know that there are situations in the world where women still are facing that sort of persecution right now, and it's absolutely horrendous. But again, even more reason why women in the Western world need to step forward and step up as leaders and start charging those big numbers. We need to be able to employ other women and grow our teams. And, if you look at any entrepreneurial study, we are still so far behind in terms of our male counterparts, in terms of what kind of revenue our business is generating. Very few of us are millionaires. Very few of us are employing teams and growing our teams. And like I say, being the voice of change within our own industries. So we need to change that, ladies, like really do. And I think this is what the world is crying out for now. It's that feminine energy leadership that has been lacking so much. So when I work with women, typically when they're first starting out in business, they really almost feel like they need to be grateful for their tiny little square of the marketplace and compensate people for working with them. So they're either charging for free or really low cost for their services. But who wants to build a business based on being the cheapest? Like, that really doesn't do yourself a service. But you have to bear in mind that there is a client for every stage of your journey, and there will be somebody that you can help right now with where you're at. But equally, when you have then serviced those clients, it's time for you to progress and move on so that you can create space for other new people coming through. And just to give you some context, there's coaches out there charging £50 an hour, but there's also coaches out there charging like up to £1 million for mentorship with them. So I'm thinking already, like Russell Brunson, the owner of ClickFunnels, I think he charges around £1 million to be mentored by him. So there is somebody for everybody. Now, obviously, if you work with Russell Brunson, he's like a multi-billionaire or something along those lines. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at his business like bank account recently, but I know he's the owner of ClickFunnels. So he has essentially changed the game in terms of how we purchase as a consumer online. He, you know, when you go through and you buy something, and then there'll be, if you've ever experienced software where you've been asked, oh, when you buy this one thing, if you buy this other thing as well, today it's going to be discounted. Or if you've bought something and then you've received a series of emails afterwards that are like thanking you for your purchase, and then would you like to buy this, or telling you a bit more about the business owner. That's a funnel. That whole process is was originally founded by Russell Brunson and his team at ClickFunnels. That whole purchasing like journey, that whole thought process and pattern was created by his team. So that's why he, you know, if you're a millionaire right now looking for your next level of success, well, you're obviously going to want to work with him, because he's got an insight that's grown an empire to billions, and people that use his systems are also generating millions. So it's still a good return on investment to be coached by him. So, you know, and when I get to that level, obviously I'm going to want to sit and have a conversation with somebody like that and just, you know, see where my next level of growth might come from. So what I would say though is, if you are thinking, right, okay, I've created a group coaching program or a one-to-one package, how do I even start with knowing where to put a number on that? And what I would say is, it's really not about your worth. It's about the transformation, or what the cost of that experience is worth to your client. And that's why it's really, really important to be quite clear with who it is that you want to serve and where they are right now in their journey. So I've done other episodes on this, and also within the Fempreneur Society, my business academy, we really go into like deep dive into that whole work around who is the person that I'm here to serve, where are they right now in their journey, you know, what are their pain points, like how can I help them, how can I give them a great transformation, and then what is the monetary value of that. So that's what we kind of want to focus on right now, but also making sure that you're honoring your experience and your qualifications that you're bringing to the table as part of that experience. So a lot of the time, like I say, when you have somebody that's relatively new in business, what they're not taking into account is, are there transferable skills that they're bringing to the table. So when I was first starting out in coaching, I was already unofficially coaching people. I've been doing that my whole life. And even in my career in HR, you know, I was a development officer, I was a trainer, I was somebody that developed talent in the business. So I'd already been coaching just because somebody hadn't given me a certification. I had years of experience of knowing how to pull out what is inside somebody to really empower them to go on and do their best work and fulfill their potential. And as a business owner, I had years of strategy that I could draw on that would really help my clients when they're thinking about their next level of growth. So I didn't feel the need to really pause for very long on low income work, because I knew that I had more to bring to the table. So I would really invite you to journal on that and see what your transferable skills are and what your experience and qualifications are worth, and your perspective, your journey, you know, your connection to this work might mean that you've got a really personal connection and valuable insights and experience as well that need to be factored in. And if your clients can't afford you right now with what feels good to you by way of a price point, then perhaps it's time to build in another product or service and a different way to deliver them. So, you know, if people can't necessarily work with you on a one-to-one basis, it's okay to instead signpost them to a group coaching experience or container. But equally, if you've got clients that want a quicker transformation or want a higher level of strategy or more intimate community, perhaps a mastermind would be better. And then it's time to increase the value even more, like increase the price point even more. There's so many ways that you can serve, and there's always your free content. So this podcast for me is me giving back to the women that can't necessarily afford me as a coach in their pocket. And perhaps, you know, even the Fempreneur Society might be a stretch for them right now. Well, then there's enough value in this podcast that they can really take some practical, actionable steps that will go away for the right person that will implement or listen to what I'm saying and see how that resonates and feels to them and translates to their business, and they'll do that for free. So this is my way of giving back and really spreading my message and serving my higher purpose. Now, I'm not going to do that for everybody. Obviously, there's only so much of me to go around, and my energy is precious. So when I work with my one-to-one clients, I obviously have to charge something that's in an equal exchange of that value. So that's what I would say for you guys to really think about, is that what is the equal exchange to the value. I'm sure that if you're listening to this and you're somebody who's committed to your business, that actually you will be bringing your absolute all, and having somebody like you in their corner is really going to be the thing that they need to change their business dramatically. So let's put a number on that. What feels good? So a lot of the time when we're thinking of these numbers, and actually saying that, sorry, side note, slightly progressing, but I had a bit of a download at the weekend because I've been going through a mastermind experience over the last 6 months. And it was something, again, that I kind of wrestled with a little bit. It was a bit of a stretch in terms of investment for me. So it was over 5 figures. And it was something that my soul was crying out for. Like, I needed that next level of accountability, community. I wanted to be amongst peers that were also at the same point in the journey as me. So obviously, as a coach, particularly when you're pouring into your clients, into others, and the society, I needed somebody who was at my level as well to pour into me, and I needed that sort of sisterhood, essentially. So this weekend I have actually started to work on my very own mastermind container, which I am so excited about. So perhaps for you, that is your next level of growth. This is for 6-figure business owners, so women that are already at that level of growth, that are able to really invest in, that are looking for the next level strategy essentially for their business. So it could be passive income streams, it could be growing their team, it could be outsourcing, automating, building funnels, like all of those things, but also want a really beautiful, intimate coaching experience and container with women who are at the same level. So if that sounds like something that your soul is absolutely crying out for right now, please come and find me on Instagram or on social media, on my website. You can email me, thefemalepreneurcoach@gmail.com, to find out more details, because I would absolutely love to speak to you. And that is, again, me stepping into that next level of growth. Now that I've experienced it, I can now pass that on to my clients and create those intimate containers as well. But what I would love to do right now is just a wealth expansion exercise, which is around resetting your thermostat and what you are comfortable in terms of receiving when it comes to your wealth. Because like I say, what you're comfortable with right now will be based on what you saw, heard, and witnessed around money when you were a child. So at the moment, your subconscious brain will be used to receiving a certain level of income each month, and it could be blocking your attempts to receive even more above that income level, because it will just feel really out of alignment with where you're used to being. So unconsciously, it will be self-sabotaging you, essentially. So this exercise is aimed at lessening that resistance, that unconscious resistance to receiving more money, and set your thermostat to a higher level. So what you need to do, first of all, is make sure that you're aware of what your current level of income is right now and what you're used to receiving. So what is your average in your business? If you don't know the figure, then obviously please just take a moment to stop the audio, stop this podcast episode, while you spend a moment just to work out what that is. And then once you've got it, we can begin. So I'd love to get you to start by closing your eyes and taking a deep breath in for 4. So holding for 4, and then letting go for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and just taking a couple of deep breaths. So this is all about just centering yourself and getting really intentional. So then I would like you to bring your current figure to mind, however it comes to you. So it might be an online bank account number. It could be a notification that pops up on your phone every month. It could be a number on a spreadsheet, or whatever you've written down on your paper. So I want you to imagine what would happen if you could be paid double that figure for the exact amount same of work. How does that feel for you in your body right now? So that number that's on your bit of paper, or however it's been represented to you in your mind's eye, if that could be doubled for exactly the same amount of work you're doing right now, how would that feel? What would that look like? How would it sound to you? Let your mind wander for a second. Now I want you to double that amount again. So you're being paid 4 times the original amount for the exact same amount of work. Imagine all of that money being paid to you. What is that new figure? How does it feel to know that that money is on its way to you each and every month without fail? So now test yourself a little bit. How high can you go? How much more money can you receive? Keep increasing that number until you reach the absolute upper limit that you can imagine being paid for the work that you do. Think what else you could do for that money in order to make it reach even higher. So is there another service that you could offer, as I mentioned before? Is there another product that you could add, a book, a group program, something else that you could add to increase your earning potential even further? Is there other ways that you could grow that money once it comes in? Could you invest in other things? What could you do? How many ways can you think of to invite that abundance in? Is it affiliate links? Is it passive income streams? Are there commissions that you could be paying out for others to help grow your audience? How high can that number go now? Allow the ideas to really flow to you and get them down on paper. So if you need a minute again, just write down on paper anything that's coming up to you through this episode, or even afterwards if it feels better. But every time you do this exercise, you should be able to see for yourself how easy it is to make money, because new insights and downloads will come to you and you'll be like, actually, there are trillions of people in the world that I can serve. I don't have to continue, even if it means pivoting who your ideal client is right now. Maybe it's about your next level of client. There are trillions of people that you can actually serve, billions or whatever. So when you really allow your mind to wander and explore those possibilities of how that money could come to you, it really does give you some perspective and context around what you're currently charging and how many endless possibilities are available to you, so that you don't have to feel like a bad person if you want to increase your prices, or if you want to obviously charge more for your services. It feels good because there's loads of ways that you can help your clients. So if it means reserving your personal energy and increasing your prices so that you're not having to work with so many clients, even better. Like, think of the experience that you'll then be able to give your clients if you're only working with a couple as opposed to loads. For me as a client and a consumer, I would prefer that. I would prefer to work with a coach that is only working with a couple of select women, as opposed to somebody who is so exhausted and so overwhelmed and so run down that she can't really give me a good experience. So just bear that when you reframe it, when you flip it, it really does help to put it in perspective with what you're charging. And also stop over delivering, ladies. Less is more. So a lot of the time when I work with clients, they are literally throwing everything but the kitchen sink in right now. But actually, you've got to give yourself and your clients a chance to implement what it is that you've learned. And if you're giving them so many things because you feel like it has to be all the things to be worth the money, then it's actually very overwhelming. And obviously, one of the things that I kind of specialize in is building memberships and academies. And this is a great misconception when it comes to my clients who want to set up their own academies. They feel like they've just got to add so much value and be in there every single day, pretty much giving everything but their firstborn child. But the reality is actually that's too much. Like, you have to take it back. Less is more. You need to allow people to really embed what they've learned, to start taking those practical action steps. And if you've given them a million things and resources, they're actually more likely to leave. And that is actually true. So that's my experience as well, also from project managing academies as well. For my clients, that's the number one reason why people leave, is because they don't keep up, they don't implement, they feel overwhelmed, and then they start to feel bad, and then they just leave because they're not getting the value and they're not getting the results. So it's better to give them a smaller journey, a smaller step in that process, and allow them to fully see it through. And then also it leaves opportunities for upsells. So you've got to do that as well. So I've just got a couple of things that I wanted to run through as well, which always comes up as common, like questions, points, those sorts of things. So beta launches are really, really good. If you want to get something out in the world, you want to get some feedbacks, a safe space for testimonials, and to be able to create in collaboration with your audience. Do that at a discounted rate, by all means. Don't do it for free, because people that pay attention. And whenever I have those who haven't invested something, there has to be an energetic exchange. If you're giving everything away for free in exchange for testimonials, the reality is those people are not actually going to be as invested to do the work as those that have actually put money and have skin in the game to do it. And that has definitely been my experience. So when I've tried to launch new programs and offered it to people for free, they don't show up, they don't do the work, like they're not your ideal clients, like absolutely not. By all means, offer a discounted rate, founding member rate, or a beta launch. Absolutely, that would be a great idea, and it's a smart business move to get those initial buy-ins and testimonials. And if that feels good to you and allows you to sell with confidence, start with a reduced price, absolutely, if that's what you need to do. However, if your demand is increasing and you're starting to become overwhelmed, then that is the time to increase your prices. As I've said before, obviously product pipelines are always, and having like a product pyramid, talk about this again in my society and with my one-to-one clients, but just having those like different levels of products and services and offerings that people can buy into is a really smart move, and also allowing for VIP options. So people that have more money can have that real premium VIP experience. You can also offer extended payment plans and ensure that you are always packaging your services, because when people are charging like one-off prices, like one-off sessions, you're not really getting any meaningful level of transformation. So you're actually doing yourself and your clients a disservice, and then you're always having to be in hustle and grind mode, finding the next client. So those are kind of like my 2 pence worth when it comes to pricing, and really finding your fee in terms of what you should charge, and then how you scale from there. If that sounds good to you and you have loved today's episode, I would love for your feedback, or even please leave me a review, because obviously then it allows more people to find me on online. So, and yeah, I hope you found some use from that and some value. So please let me know what your biggest aha moments, takeaways, or anything that you're going to be implementing or changing, or even whatever that number was. I'm going to put my details in the show notes, also my email, and if you want to come and find me on Instagram and send me the words 6 figures, then obviously I will send you more details about my upcoming mastermind that you will be hearing more about. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. Happy International Women's Day. I hope you have an absolutely incredible day, and you really appreciate what an absolute badass you are. Even just any of us with children that have survived the pandemic and homeschooling, like, let me tell you, you are incredible. And I look forward to speaking with you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.